Hey everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Pepe's Parlay. We're entering week 4. Like really? Like what's happening? Week 4. It's absolutely insane. So really great week last week. We did really well. We hit our first parlay and I think what you're going to see, I'm going to show you the stats on it. It's called Pepe's Parlay. It should be Pepe's Parlays and Teasers, but doesn't work, doesn't rhyme, doesn't roll off the tongue, if you will. This is a lot better, but at the end of the day, what we've determined is that if you're playing parlays, you're getting a 6-1 return, and we have a couple of parlays, and the teasers give us better odds, and we've done really well in the teasers actually so far. We're undefeated actually on Thursday night teasers, so we'll try to keep that going. But yeah, really good week, and a couple of things that are happening now. We have 3 full weeks of stats, and we can start to look at some of the data. I'm a data-driven guy. And when you start off the week 1, week 2, we did okay. Like we broke even, lost the unit in week 2, or week 3, but we've been treading water. Like we've basically been even for the season. But we're going on the past, and we don't know how the rookies are going to do, especially in the offensive roles. Nothing harder than a rookie quarterback to make an impact in this league. Ask JJ McCarthy about that out in Minnesota. And then obviously you have players like guards and offensive, defensive linemen that can have a much bigger impact, right? So we're starting to see some stats. We're starting to see a couple of turnarounds. Teams that were terrible last year are doing well. So we'll jump on that. So before wasting any more time, I'm going to jump into our slides. As always, here on No Filter and on Pepe's Parlay, if you follow our tips and if we've made you money, hit that tip button, and every single dime that we get, it goes to a charitable foundation that we're going to be announcing later on this year. So I'm going to announce it if we actually have some tips, right? So we've identified a few organizations that we think can benefit. So, hey, without further ado, let's talk about how we did. So a little recap of what we played last week. We had Miami teased -18, division rivalry against the Buffalo Bills. Colts, Eagles, and Vikings in a parlay. The Chargers, Seahawks, and the Cowboys in a parlay. The Chiefs in an under teaser, and the Lions in an under teaser. What did we focus on? Primetime points, which ended up biting me in the ass because we played the under both on the in the Lions Monday Night Football game. Fade the Travelers and keep an eye on those injury reports. I cannot believe the injuries already this year. Absolutely insane. It feels like it's worse than usual, mostly because it's affecting my fantasy football team. But nonetheless, let's talk about how we did. So we had a great week, our best week in week 3 so far. We had a plus 500 week. So walk you through this. We started off with Miami -18 and an over in a teaser against the Bills on Thursday Night Football. Brought us to 3-0 on the Thursday night teasers, and we made $200 right off the top. Always fun to start with house money. Then we went into the early picks, the top 3 parlay teams. We had the Colts, the Eagles, and the Vikings. A little bit of luck on that Eagles game, not going to lie. The Eagles not only blocked a field goal, which should have been a chip in, but returned it for one of the most amazing touchdowns I've ever seen. A 340-pound lineman blocks the freaking kick, picks up the ball, scoops it, and runs it down the field for 70 yards for a touchdown. And that's the Eagles. Basically, that play made us win that parlay. So, sometimes you got bad beats and sometimes you got, good wins, right? Like it comes your way. And that put us up $800, right off the start. So that was amazing. Then we go off to the afternoon game where we had the um, Chargers, the Seahawks, and the Cowboys. We lost a unit there. Actually, I made a mistake here. I'm just looking at my math. I forgot to add uh, the teaser winner. Whoops. There we go. The teaser winner for the Chiefs. So the Chargers, Seahawks, and the Cowboys. Chargers won and covered. Seahawks won and covered. Cowboys got killed, unfortunately. So we lost a unit there. So that put us at plus 700. Then the Chiefs and the under teaser hit. That was a no-brainer. Absolutely crushed that. Chiefs defense is looking really, really solid, carrying the team so far. And the Chiefs got their first win. Just did not see the Chiefs going 0-3. And then finally, we had the Lions in an under teaser. So we actually made 700. I apologize, right? We went 200 for the Chiefs under teaser and then lost 200 on the Lions. So a plus 700 for the week. And the most impressive part of all this, out of the 12 different selections, we had 10 out of 12 correct. So really, really good. And, we'll try to build on that. Plus 700, plus 500 is where we're at actually for the season. That was the typo there. So let's take a look at what our AI model said. If you take a look at this, we had the original line on the Miami Buffalo game was Bills 12-point favorites and the OU at 50. One thing about the Buffalo Bills, fabulous team. Don't get me wrong. A bona fide Super Bowl contender, but man, do they give up a lot of points. That defense gives up a ton of points. We saw that against the Ravens. So I felt that Miami could score on this team. So ChatGPT and Grok both came back with the same score, 34-17 in their prediction models. I came with 31-27. And the final score was 31-21. Now, I got to tell you, you all know I'm a Fins fan. Miami had the ball with 3 minutes left. It was 28-21. First and 10, I guess, from the 20-yard line, with 3 minutes on the clock, and Tua threw that interception. And a lot of people gave Tua a lot of shit. I blame the coaching staff on this one. You need to knock time off the clock. Like, you need to run the ball. A-Chain was having success. We had Ollie Gordon, who's your short yardage guy. You want to grind this clock down, and you want to be able to, try to make a touchdown inside a 2-minute warning, giving Buffalo's, the forcing the Bills to use up their timeouts. But instead, we threw the ball with 3 minutes left, and the game ends up 31-21. So we came really, really close with a 31-27. But the point is, all GPT models, including Peppe GPT, had Miami covering in the over from our teaser, and we were all right. So we hit that one. But I kind of like that one. I like continuing to talk about the GPT models and see how they do. So let's continue. I talked about this last week. I would link the different power rankings. I'm using USA Today's rankings, and I'll use this as a baseline moving forward. But I like to show you guys, who the top 5 teams are in the power rankings, and who are the bottom 5, and then you kind of see where they were last week. And there's a lot in the middle, right? Obviously, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so I'm not talking about the 22s, but I want to talk about the extremes. These are great teams to focus on, right? The top 5 teams are usually hot, and I like to pick the teams that are trending up or down when I'm targeting the games that I'm going to bet on. So I start here. This is my exercise at the beginning of the week. Top 5 teams. Eagles are at number 1. Yeah, I mean, until they're the Super Bowl champs, until they get dethroned, they're 3-0. Until you prove me wrong, they're the number 1 team. The Bills are at number 2. Josh Allen alone makes them deserve to be at number 2. I think they're really, really, really close to the Eagles. The biggest difference in my mind is the Bills' defense. I want to see the Bills' defense, and they're going to get healthier. They've had some missing links here and there. I want to see them play a little bit tighter football, right? So Josh Allen throwing the ball to 12 different receivers is fantastic. And his offense is great. He'll get it done himself. He'll do what he needs to do to win. But I want to see the Bills D on the other side of the ball, get the ball back sooner. And I want to see some more ball control for the Bills to become number one. This is what we're going to be, keeping an eye on. Chargers moving up. Love the Chargers. I talked about the Chargers last week. We're not betting the Chargers this week because they're playing the Giants, laying 6.5 points, and the Giants are starting Jackson Dart. And I love this kid. Love this kid. What we saw in preseason. I want to see Jackson Dart play a game before I start betting against him. So is really what it boils down to. So, but the Chargers are legit. We talked about them last week. Very complete team. Keep an eye on them. And they bumped 3 spots to the number 3 slot. And that's about right. I agree with that. Rams are at number 4, moved up from number 5. And then the Packers, despite the fact that they lost to the Cleveland Browns, I thought they would actually go lower than 5. That the Browns have a legit defense. I'll give them that. Obviously, they proved that. But the Packers stay in the top 5 because they're a legit team. I'm on the fence on that one, but we'll keep an eye on them. I was really high on the Packers, and I really thought they were going to crush the Browns, but they were giving up way too many points, so we didn't touch it. Turns out, bottom 5 teams, the Cowboys let us down in that second parlay. I mean, what is there to say? CeeDee Lamb also gets injured on top of that. Which is really unfortunate for the Cowboys because really they don't have much going on for them on the defensive side of the ball. Losing Micah Parsons, like they've removed their pressure on the quarterback on the defensive side, and then offensively, which is the Cowboys' hope here is to win shootouts. You lose your number 1 target and one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in CeeDee Lamb, so. Guys like Pickett and guys like Tolbert are going to have to step up, but they dropped precipitously from the 21st spot to the bottom 5 to 28. A little brutal, but, I can see it with the injuries. So the Dolphins, my Fins, were last. Do not agree with that whatsoever. I didn't agree with it last week. They had a tough schedule to start the year. They moved up to 29th from 32nd, basically because they competed with the Bills. Personally speaking, I think that they are going to crush the Jets. We'll talk a little bit about that. Giants moved down from 25th to 30th. Horribly managed team, man. Like this, I think Dart should have actually come in for Russell Wilson. They were in this game last week a little bit later, but again, we didn't touch it. Titans. What can you say about the Titans? They moved from 29th to 31st, and the Saints. We've talked about these guys. The Titans and the Saints are going to be at the bottom of the league for most of the year, and the Cleveland Browns moved out of the bottom 5 by beating the Packers. Congratulations on a pretty boring game, but a big win for them. So let's talk about Thursday Night Football. Before we'll basically close the door on a fantastic week where we finished +5. Sorry, +7, +5 for the season. And Thursday Night Football features the Seattle Seahawks visiting Arizona in a really, really tough NFC West division. Both teams are at 2-1. This game means a lot. Division rivalry. It's one of these games where it's early in the season. Probably means more to Arizona because they play each other twice. If they're going to beat Seattle, it's at home. It's going to be really hard for them to beat them on the road. But that being said, I like this Arizona team. I just the biggest thing that kind of made me tilt towards the Seahawks this week is the fact that the Arizona Cardinals lost James Conner, their biggest red zone running back threat, like inside 5 yards. James Conner is an automatic touchdown. Gone for the season. I think it was an Achilles heel. I had him on my fantasy, of course. This is the 3rd starting player that I've lost in my fantasy team, unfortunately. So, but without James Conner, they lose that little bit of that depth that they need to have. Both teams are, below average against the pass. So I expect both teams to throw the ball a lot. And Smith Najigba for the Seattle Seahawks is probably the most underrated wide receiver. I absolutely, absolutely love the Seahawks to win in a higher scoring game than the line assumes right now. Like, you're looking at a 43 and a half, and you're looking at basically Arizona 1.5, which means it's a pick 'em game, right? They like your 1.5 to 2 points is what you get when you play at home. I've heard people say as much as 3. You can argue that Seattle is considered a slight favored, once you remove the home advantage from the play. So we're going to tease the Seattle Seahawks to 5.5, and we're going to take the over on this one, and we're going to keep it to 2 units. My comfort level on this is probably a 4 out of 5. I expect a lot of points. I really like the over on its own as well, but Seattle to go on the road and to beat the Cardinals in a division rivalry. I like the 5.5. I think it'll be a close point, a close game. Give me more than a field goal for Seattle, who I think is a better team. And Sam Darnold is playing great football. He started off slow, but he's definitely picking it up. And then let's take a look at our AI models and see what our GPTs said. ChatGPT and Grok again this week, very, very close. ChatGPT has Seattle winning 23-20. Grok has Seattle 24, Arizona 20. I have Seattle winning by 10. I have Seattle 27, Arizona 17. Just think that Seattle's going to be able to put some points up against this Arizona defense. And again, I don't see either team establishing a run game. Seattle might. They like to run the ball, but they've been inconsistent offensively. And again, you look at the stats, first 3 weeks, they've had some, good weeks and bad weeks. And then the Cards without Connor are going to be relying on one back, a rookie back. And I'm just going to go Seattle 27-17. I think they win comfortably. And I think the over hits as well. Let's go to Sunday now. Sunday's early picks. Big slate to pick from. There's a few teams that I'm high on. So a couple of teams here that were not mentioned in the top 5, and teams to watch for right in the coming weeks. So first we have the Washington Commanders, who play against Atlanta. The Falcons are just a mess right now. Penix is a young quarterback who has flashes of brilliance. He's got the weapons, right? He really does. He's got one of the best, if not the best, running back in Bijan Robinson in the backfield. I just like the Commanders' defense. I think they're going to be able to put enough pressure on, and we've seen some flashes of brilliance from the Commanders. So they lost Eckler for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Another guy that I lost in my fantasy football, but they're deep enough. They've got a pretty good backfield, without Eckler. And that's why they were able to actually trade Brian Robinson to the Niners, because they felt they had depth at the running back position. But the big thing for me is the defense. So I think the Commanders are going to be able to get in Penix's face enough and mess with his game. And we've seen him, panic going through his rotations, through a couple of bad interceptions. I expect to see some big defensive plays from the Commanders. Commanders to cover 1.5. On the road. Next game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Super Bowl winning Eagles. Eagles take the Super Bowl show on the road. Tampa's legit. This is a battle of 2 3-0 teams. In my mind, I put the Bucs up there ahead of the Packers in that number 5 spot that we talked about, right? Tampa's legit. They're solid. Baker Mayfield is playing amazing. Bucky Irving, can run the ball, impressive back, and more tools on the receiving side. I can't pronounce his name, but rookie wide receiver Egobuko, I think it is. Pardon me for the pronunciation. I like the Bucs offense a lot better than the Eagles offense. And then The big factor here, Saquon Barkley needs to have a game, and the Bucs defense against the run is really, really legit. So I think it'll be a close game. I think it's going to be the Bucs. I'll take the field goal and a half, so plus 3.5. If you want to, get a little cocky, there's two plays here where you might want to juice it up. So $100 pays 600. If we money line the Bucs, that takes us to 750, right? So in this one, though, it is the Super Bowl champs. I'm recommending that we play the 3.5. Then we go to New England, where the Patriots are hosting the Carolina Panthers. Um, the Patriots are 29th in the NFL on pass defense. I'm just going to leave that out there. Bryce Young, another young quarterback who showed some fantastic potential towards the latter part of the season, is starting to show flashes of brilliance. I like this young wide receiving core, and this offensive line is giving Bryce Young a little bit of time. I'm the running game for the Patriots is not great. Drake May, another young quarterback who, it's a battle of two young quarterbacks, but Bryce Young has a little bit more experience. And that Carolina defense is a little bit better, which doesn't say much. I'm going to go with the Panthers here. I can't believe they're getting 5.5. And I'm going to take a look at money lining. I wouldn't be, don't get shocked if I go Commanders, Bucks, and with the points, and then Panthers money line. And that could take us close to plus 850 or so. I'm going to have a look, but you should get a plus 200 if we on the Panthers money line on its own. I'll keep an eye on that. But if you want to play it safe, 100 pay 600, take the points, 5.5. I think is a no-brainer. And I really, really like this one. Comfort level, I'm going to give this one 4.5 out of 5. I really like these three picks. I'm not, obviously betting against the Super Bowl champs causes a little bit of concern, but the Bucs are that good. They really are. So I'm going to take the Bucs to at least cover. If the Bucs win, they're going to make it in the top 5 in the NFL rankings for next week for sure. Let's take a look now at the Sunday late picks. There's 4 games going on. Always interesting, right? You have a lot more picks to choose from, a lot more games to choose from. There's one that you got to rule out. I ruled out the Niners Jacksonville game, mostly because of the injuries to the Niners. I mean, it's kind of a joke. It's become a kind of a joke and a meme where we see a bunch of Niners jerseys walking into the ER. But lost Nick Bosa, that joins an injured Kittle. Brock Purdy may be back. We're not really sure. So I guess, even the backup quarterback for San Francisco is injured now. Mac Jones, hobbled off the field with a strained MCL. And there's nothing back there after that, right? There's no one after Mac Jones. So I'm not touching that Niner game. I'm going to let them get better, and we'll revisit them next week. But let's take a look at the 3 that I picked. We're going to start off with another 3-0 team that makes a strong argument for being a top 5 team. So the Indianapolis Colts, by far the surprise team of the season, are 3-0, and they're doing it on every part of the game. Special teams, defense, and their offense is amazing. Their running game is amazing. Danny Dimes is having the comeback. He's your early comeback player of the year. Now they go off and they play against the Rams on the road. Tough environment, obviously, but I like another close game in this one. The Colts there's something about this team. Like, they don't give up. I'm going to take the points because I think it'll be another close game. The Rams won a close game last week. They won by a point. It's that kind of a buzz for me, like a 21-20 type game, right? Last minute field goal wins it for either side. I'll take the 3.5 points though and keep riding the hot Colts. Should they beat the Rams, they will dethrone the Rams in the top 5 for sure as well. So we might see both the Colts and the Rams in the top 5 should they, quote unquote, upset, get a couple of upset wins. Let's move on to the Raiders at home versus the Bears. I don't know what to say about this. Bears win a game. Great. Caleb Williams played great. Yeah, awesome. How are the Raiders dogs against the Bears? I don't get it. So 27th worst pass defense in the NFL for the Bears. It's not about Williams, it's about their defense here. And Geno Smith is throwing the ball. And when he plays indoors, he's going to play at home. I expect a high-scoring affair. This I'm going to play the over on this one on its own. I don't even know what it is, but this is like a 35-31 game or something. Like it's going to be a shootout in Vegas. But I like the Raiders to win this one outright. 1.5 points. Yeah, take the points. I mean, you can money line it, I guess. I don't think it matters too much. But if we can see any kind of sustained pressure on Caleb Williams, the Raiders win by 10, right? If they can't do that, I still think the Raiders win in a close one, just because the Raiders are going to be able to post all kinds of points up against this team. So love the over, love the Raiders at home. And then the final game of the week, 2 Super Bowl contenders. You know, when you took a look at the NFL rankings at the beginning of the year, the Ravens and KC are nowhere to be seen in the top 5. Both teams are at 1-2. What a brutal schedule. I mean, I feel really, really bad for both teams. Like it's actually unfair, right? Like KC, we talked about KC having to start the season in Brazil. The Ravens started the season against the Bills, right? Like it's incredible. They lost. The Ravens lost another game last week that was basically attributed to another fumble from Derrick Henry. I felt terrible for the guy. I'm a big Derrick Henry fan. But now Kansas City, is playing against a Ravens team that gives up so many freaking points. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy. Xavier Worthy's back for KC, so they're going to get healthier. Mahomes now has more weapons. Travis Kelce is showing his age, so they really need a Worthy back. Kelce needs to stop tackling his own players, though. And then Pacheco, like the Ravens do not know how to. They don't have an answer against the run. Teams are running at will against them. I expect a big game from Pacheco. So both Hunt and Pacheco are 2 amazing backs. Hunt is your short yardage guy, but Pacheco is going to have a game. He's going to have a breakout game. He started off the season pretty slow. I expect the Chiefs to win this one. They're 2.5 point dogs on the road. I understand that. I think they win outright in this one as well. And so, interesting thing, we're taking the 3 dogs in the late picks. Now, we're within 3.5 points in all these games, but just something that I wanted to throw out there. So let's then move on to the Sunday night football game. We have the Packers playing against the Cowboys. Cowboys are 6.5 point dogs. Another, huge historic rivalry. I just think 6.5 is too much to give to Green Bay. I got to say, Green Bay against Cleveland did not look very good. I expect them to come back. They're going to be able to score way more points against this Dallas offense. And then, we talked about CeeDee Lamb not playing, which hurts the Cowboys. However, this is such an important matchup, and they're playing at home, and they're playing the Packers. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. I don't think they win, but it's going to be close. 12.5 is a lot. 8, 9, 10 points we cover. We're good. And I expect 41.5 to hit as well. So we're going to go Cowboys in the over in the Sunday night football teaser. This one's going to be a good way to end the Sunday, stack of games. Pull up a beer, and you should see a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns, and this is a lot of fantasy football seasons are gonna or weeks are gonna be won or lost based on the points that these 2 teams put up. Let's move on now to my Miami Dolphins, my 0-3 Miami Dolphins playing the 0-3 New York Jets. I've seen the memes on Instagram. This is the toilet bowl. Yeah. Insert the jokes wherever you want to insert. But let's call a spade a spade. Miami looked really good against Buffalo. They played with them for, 57 minutes until that dumbass play with 3 minutes left. They had a legitimate chance to beat the Bills on the road. So McDaniel did not get fired because of that. Their offense started to click and look good. A-Chain, I call him A-Chain. started to run the ball and contribute from a fantasy perspective as well, which is important for me because I have him, of course, as my RB1. And the Jets are bad. The Jets defense specifically is really, really bad. And their Jets defense against the run, they give away some huge plays all the time. So these are 2-0-3 teams. The Dolphins are a much, much better team. They should not be 0-3. But they got off to an ass start. I say they get on the winning side of this matchup. I expect a lot of points in this one too. So I like the Fins tease to 3.5. We'll take the points right now. Jets are favored by 2.5. But I think that the Fins win outright in a blowout, and 39.5 points. This could be, a breakout game for Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't mind seeing him score a couple of touchdowns. A-Chain with at least one, maybe, one running touchdown, one catching touchdown. So I could see 35, 38 points from the Fins. And I could see the Jets, they're going to score some points, against the Dolphins. Fins just have to stop Garrett Wilson, though. Like, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and then there's nobody after that, right? So I want to see us double cover, triple cover Garrett Wilson, and we should be able to take care of business. I'm going to say like a 35, 38 to, 17 game, right, in favor of the Fins. Love, 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 love my Fins. Monday Night Football. I'm going to be backing up the truck on this one. So let's summarize. We have an interesting week. We obviously feel great after the plus $700 week that we had last week. We start off with Seattle tonight over in the teaser for 2 units, Washington, Tampa, and the Carolina Panthers in our first parlay for 1 unit. Colts, Raiders, and KC in our second parlay. That should be 1 unit, not 2. I'll fix that later. Cowboys over in a teaser for 2 units, and then my Miami Dolphins in the over in a teaser for 2 units. What are we looking at right now? We're looking at attacking the poor defenses, right? So we talked about, I'm looking at stats, right? It's been 3 games. Let's start to use those stats. And then let's ride some of these winning teams, right? So I love the Colts. I love Washington and Tampa, and Seattle to edge over tonight over Arizona. Both teams are 2-1, but so like try to favor the teams that have a little bit of positive momentum with them, and of course we always observe the injury situation that we have. So that's going to wrap it for us for this week. We ran a little over 30 minutes, but thanks again for joining. Let's go make some money. Again, if you listen to our advice and you win some money and you want to, give some back, go ahead and hit that tip button. Every single dime, 100% of the money that we receive will go to a charity that we will be announcing further in the season. Thanks again for listening, and let's enjoy week 4, guys. Let's have some fun, and be safe out there. Gamble responsibly, obviously, but let's go make some money. Talk to you next week.